Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome. I'm excited today to be showing some gameplay from Sword Siege Crusades Book 1 from Wargame Design Studio. This game covers sieges and battles during the time of the First and Second Crusade, and in particular today we are going to play the Siege of Arsuf. Now this was a siege that happened historically in late 1099, and the historical context for the siege was that it was between the First and Second Crusade. A number of the Crusaders had decided to stay behind in Jerusalem, which was Crusader held. The city of Arsuf, which was still Muslim held, had agreed to pay tribute to the Crusaders, but they never did. So Godfrey of Bouillon, the leader of the Crusaders, said, "Pay us our tribute or we're going to come siege your city." The Muslims said, "Challenge accepted," and here came the Crusaders. Now the problem was there wasn't a lot of Crusaders left. They were able to build a couple of siege towers and had some Manganels, and historically this siege didn't go well. The Muslims set fire to the siege towers and burned them down, and then Godfrey was kind of like, I guess we go home now. So he left and they failed. However, we are going to hope to do better as the Crusaders. Let's jump in and get started. So here we are, a bird's eye view of the city of Arsuf and our two opposing forces. A rough picture is the Muslims control the city of Arsuf. We are the Crusader forces here in blue outside the city, and we're trying to attack and take the city. Let's zoom in here and take a little bit closer look at what we've got. First up, if we look at the city itself here, we can see there are hordes of Muslim forces along the walls here, and then the city itself is relatively small. But we also, there's a fog of war here, so there are more forces inside. Historically, I think the Crusaders were outnumbered, and in this scenario, we are outnumbered as well, about 1,000 troops against 2,000. Now, what are we trying to do first? Well, before we look at our forces, let's take a look at what our objectives are. The biggest objective here, which I've just highlighted in red on the west edge of the map, is the center of the city. And if we look very closely in the top left corner, we can see it's an objective, and it's worth 350 points. If we can capture the center of the city, we will win the siege. To do that, we have to get through these walls and then fight our way through the city and get to the center of the city. Now, also, there are a couple of other objectives here. It's highlighted in red, and I'm circling with the cursor here to the east gate. Is worth 50 victory points, and then the south gate down here on the very far southwest corner of the city is also worth 50 victory points. Of minor concern here up to the north here is this small citadel inside. This final objective is worth 50 points, but I'm not too worried about that. That, I think, would be an exceptionally strong victory if we were to get that far. What do we have to work with? Well, we don't have a lot of forces to work with. We have, at the front of our forces appear, as we're going through in a line, we have some archers and then some knights and such. Siege-wise, for siege engines, we have two siege towers, one here at the front of this long line, another one here at the back end of the long line, and then we have four Manganels that are artillery pieces with a range of 8 that can throw large rocks and stones at the walls and hopefully do a lot of damage. Then following that, we have some more knights, some more ground knights, and some more archers that will kind of build up the rest of our contingent with some supply trains at the back of the formation. Now, a couple of things to talk about. I'm not an expert at this game. I'm not very good at this game. I'm learning this game. So mistakes are going to be made, and I'm not sure if this is a good plan. What I've done, I've played through the training scenarios, and then I've played through this Siege of Arsuf once, and I fought to a draw. And my strategy the first time was, I looked at all these forces on the walls on the east side of Arsuf, and I said, that's suicide. That's madness to try to go through the walls there. There's just too many forces there. And I looked at the southern half of the city, and I said, well, there's not many forces down there. Let's try to punch through on this southeast corner. In theory, that was a good plan, but the problem is we only have 5 hours to conduct our siege. And these siege towers, we can see this road running all the way up to Jerusalem. They move fairly quickly on the road. They don't move quickly at all once we leave the road with these siege engines. So it took so long to get our siege towers up against the wall here, to get our Manganels in position to pound the walls, that by the time we broke through the city, there just really wasn't a lot of time to get most of our forces inside. It took us so long, we finally made one breakthrough. Some units started to trickle through, and then all of the Muslims got down off of the walls, waited for us on the side as we broke through, and just cut us to ribbons as we broke through the city, into the city. We finally got some forces up on the walls and just about got open the south gate that could come down some of the towers inside. We got another breach through there, and we started to gain ground in the city, but we just ran out of time. And to be fair, we were running out of force strength too. We just didn't have the punch left because so many of our troops got killed. So it ended up being a draw. What does that mean for this scenario? Round 2 here, I'm actually, for the sake of time, I think we have to try to go through this fortified section where they've got troops along the southeast section of the wall. So roughly speaking, we're going to try to roll up our archers, try to move our archers up to within 3 hexes of the walls. That'll get them within range to start peppering the forces on the walls. Then we're going to have our ground troops behind them waiting. We're going to leave some channels to run through our siege towers, that we're going to put our siege towers up against these southeast walls. We're going to try to run our sappers up here to mine under the walls someplace. And then we're going to try to set our manganels further back and try to pound these forces on the walls and try to blow a hole through the wall that way. With any luck, we'll be able to break some holes through the wall, get some forces up on the walls, get them down some of the towers so we can open that east gate and all our forces can get into the city and take the city. That sounds a lot. It sounds easier than it is. And it is time, however, to get moving here. So we're on turn 1 right now. And what I want to do first is we're going to start moving our forces up. Now, one of the cool things in this game, I know when I showed the overview of it, people said, wow, it's going to take a long time to move all of these units. And this actually is a relatively small force. But the forces are divided up into kind of divisions or battalions, which is organizations of troops. And if you just click one of them and then hold down the shift key and then right click, everybody in that particular battalion moves. So we just moved all of our forces much closer to Jerusalem. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that on the walls here, I've just clicked on it now, we can see that they have some kind of a catapult type weapon positioned to pepper us and bombard us. I don't know what the range of this is, but I'm a little bit concerned that that thing's going to wreck our siege towers or create havoc on the troops trying to come up inside the walls here. So I think I'm going to try to divert a couple of manganels to the kind of the north side of the road here and see if we can blast this section of the wall that's got their artillery piece on it and take that out of action so that we can get in close without getting harassed by those artillery units up on the walls there. But anyway, I'm going to take a moment now. I'm going to move the rest of the forces up. We'll get them a little bit closer, and then we'll take a look at how the siege is going as we start to draw into better range with the city here. I want to show a little bit, too, on how the turns work here. We finished the movement and firing section of our turn. We're still out of range, so there was nothing to fire. I'm going to click on the clock, the yellow clock at the top here, to advance to the melee phase. But the little melee warning comes up here, a little melee kind of announcement comes up here, but we don't have anything to melee. So that would be if we were adjacent and going to go into hand-to-hand combat like that. So I'm just going to click to advance to the next turn. And I'm going to see here if this Manganel will fire at us. I wonder if it's in range. Nope, nothing's firing, it looks like, so far. It's moving, though. Or leader move there. Something's happening here. Okay, so that was good. So it's still not in range, and they don't have any melee, of course, either. So now we're up to the third turn. And in each turn is roughly 10 minutes, so we're about a half an hour into our battle now. We're approaching the walls here. We're going to start now to bring our archers into range of these units on the walls. So we will probably take some fire, too, as we go closer here. And basically what happens, we'll hear the sound of the firing, then we'll see casualties will show up on our units here. I do want to leave some gaps in here too so that we can push our siege engines up. Probably want to get the troops off the road here too. So I want to be a little bit conscious of, aware of how we can make sure we can move forces up without having them have to move through each other. Because if you push your ground troops up through your archers, everybody gets disordered and it's mass chaos. I had a lot of problems with that on the first time as well. Units also, we can see these little blue arrows. They have facing, so we can see everyone now is facing in the right direction the way they're marching. They also have a formation. If I click on, for example, these archers here, we can see that they're in column formation. And that's not good for firing, but it's good for moving down a road. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up into the command menu here, and I'm going to give them a change formation, and that will change them to line formation. We can see the little graphic change a little bit to yellow, and now they're in a wider line that's going to give them much more firing capacity as they move forward. So I'm going to do that for all of these archers, and then I'm going to push them up, and we're going to see if we can get them opening fire on some of these walls here. All right, so our first archer here has moved within range of 3, and now we can switch the command in the top left to fire, and we should be able to fire on this unit up here. We're going to see this little red target come up, and we are firing, and we had no effect. Now, one other thing that I want to point out as we look at these walls here, I'm going to hide the units here so we can see this. So let's view units off. This corner here we can see has it's a little gray outline to show you there's a unit there, but it has a much larger square section to it. This is a tower, section of the wall, which means that it is a lot harder to destroy. And I feel like the troops have better defense in there too, as opposed to the space just to the north of the corner. That's just a straight section. These sections aren't as strong, and so we should be able to break through those. The other thing about a tower, however, is though that you can get to the ground on the inside of the wall via a tower. So ideally what we want to be able to do is if we can open the gate either by breaking it down, but we don't have a battering ram to break it down. We could pound it with the Manganel, that would work too, but perhaps an easier way is to bring our siege towers up against the wall, send some troops up into the siege tower, and then have fight their way down to a tower, go down the tower, and then run over to the east gate and take the east gate, and then all our troops can come into Arsuf, and that would be a big win. But that's much harder done than said. So just a little bit there on kind of some of the things I'm thinking about as I look at this. I'm going to move in our other archers here, and we'll get them firing. We'll see if any success here as we move our forces in and start to pepper the walls with our first combat. Firing again, no effect. Come on, guys, do better. We're A+ quality archers too. Turn 3 comes to the close here for our segment anyway. Our siege towers are lumbering towards the walls here. We still got a good hour and a half before they're going to be in position and before we can get our Manganels firing too. We're going to have to unlimber them as well, so it's going to take a little while to set them up. Curious to see now as we go into the Muslim turn to see if this artillery on the wall is going to be able to fire. So we don't have any melee. We're going to go to the next turn. It'd be nice if we're not taking devastating artillery fire as we're setting up here. It does look like that Manganel is trying to work its way down the wall here, but it did not fire at us yet, so that's good. Maybe we can send some archers over there to start to shoot at it. I'm tempted to send... Yeah, I think we will. I'm going to send these archers over here, see if they can slide up here, and maybe take... It looks like there's a little building just to the east gate side of the east. We're going to send them up there and see if they can fire that way. Can we get any closer? No, we can't. Okay, that's fine. Everybody else, I don't want to really bring them in range yet because we have a long way to go before we're going to be able to get close to the kind of being able to send troops inside the city. So the last thing I want to do is have enemy archers firing at them. So just moving up our siege engines here as we go in the next turn 4 here. We'll keep moving along and we'll jump back in as we start to fire more at these units on the walls. Yes! We finally killed a man! So our archers, we can see one man on top of the wall. I'm aiming for this leader here, but hopefully we can take some down here. So our first casualty inflicted. No effect here. Our archers are not having much effect here as we're firing on the walls. Yes! Another Muslim falls. Now, one of the cool things here, too, we can look under view. I'll find it here. There's a way to see the... Oh, yeah, it's one of these little buttons here. It's the victory condition. So if we click on this, we can see a detailed report literally down to the man, how many people we've killed. So we can see the Islamic Alliance has suffered 2 infantry losses, and we have yet to suffer any. Right now, this is by victory points. We have 0. The total points in the bottom is 0. And in order to achieve a major defeat, we have to get to 50. Minor defeat is 100. Minor victory is 300. So we have a long way to go before we start to achieve anything close to victory here, which makes sense. We're just arriving at the city. So we will keep going here. Let's see what happens with the Muslims in terms of their response to our firing here. But we don't really have too much with these front troops. We're just getting our archers in position here. We'll go to the melee phase, and then we'll be back. Oh, that's not good. This artillery is fighting, and it hit 8 men. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the answer is yes, it will fire at us. Yes, it's deadly, and we are suffering casualties by this artillery piece, which is just what we feared here. And I bet it's going to shift to our siege towers, which means no good plan survives contact with the enemy. Gosh, I feel like it makes sense to back up a little bit here. At least get these archers out of the way. I just don't want to have them get killed like that. They lost 8 men. They were at 52. They're down to 44 already. They're not going to last very long if we just have them shooting arrows at this thing, blasting us with rocks. I think we need to move our Manganels up here and pound that first. And that would actually not be a bad spot because it's just to the east of the gate here. So yeah, we're going to rearrange our forces here. We're going to have... I'm going to pull our siege tower off the road, let our Manganels go past it, set our Manganels up right roughly where these archers are now, right in front of our cavalry and these archers, and have it open fire on the Manganels up on the walls to try to knock that out. And that probably will keep their Manganels busy, and then we'll bring up our siege towers. So we're going to rearrange. I'll be back when that's done. All right, so we have orchestrated that change. Now we're going to move to the Muslim turn to see if this Manganel, this whatever artillery piece is up on the wall, is going to continue to pepper us here with fire. No, it's out of range now, and it doesn't look like it's willing to move. So that might actually dictate a slightly different approach. Maybe we just stay to the south, but if we're going to have to push our siege towers up there, we got to take that artillery piece out. That's for sure. So I'm going to continue to move our Manganels. We should start being in range. We can look here. If I click on one of our Manganels and then highlight it and then I right-click on it, it shows that it's got a range of 8, which should be good. If we pull it right up just off the road in front of this farm here, we should be able to start to fire and hit that Manganel up on the wall. So maybe their range isn't quite so far, which would work out very nicely for us. Okay, so we're moving forward now, just pushing up with our artillery pieces here. Got to get them in position. So busy, so many things to do. This one I accidentally moved off the road, so it's delayed now. So problems abound here. We're going to keep our siege engines here moving up too. Let's go that way. We can get them. Don't want to delay them too much here because I wish we didn't screw up the motion here. But yeah, things happen. I've had our archers fire. We're continuously kind of picking off 1 or 2 men here with our bows and arrows. One of the drawbacks to this is we can run out of ammo. We can see now, if you look in the top left corner, we can see the little orange and white letter, low ammo. That means this archery unit here, this group of archers, has run low on ammo. They can't fire. We do have that supply chain. It will draw supplies from that, but how long it takes to get those supplies and arrows up to this unit can vary. So they're going to be out of action for a little bit while they wait for new arrows to be brought up. But we're done here now. We're going to kind of keep moving forward. Hopefully we'll see what happens. I'm a little bit leery of this, the artillery piece up on the Muslim walls here, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's staying there and it's out of range. Okay. And we get our command report as we go back to the next turn. 0 units resupplied out of 1 units checked. So we have no resupply. If we still look at this archery unit, these archers, they're still low on ammo. They can't fire. But we're getting closer to getting our Manganels in range. The attack moves on. We have a group of sappers here, which we can see in this stack of 3 units. On the left-hand side, we can see our units. And what I want to do is bring these sappers up just to the north of this southeast corner to see if they can start mining under the wall, under the cover of this archery fire. The mistake I made was I moved them right up through our line of archers. So now we can see disordered label on these units on the left-hand side, which means that it's going to take them a while to sort out and they're not as effective and we can't change their formation. So kind of a lot of bad things just happened here because I screwed up and I tried to move these sappers right through our line of archers. I continually messed that up in the first battle. You got to try to get better at it. So you have to pay attention to formation and not doing dumb things like running your ground troops up through your lines of archers and stuff like that too. But we are getting closer to getting our Manganels in position here to fire. Let's end this turn here and we will move forward. We're going to see if they will fire on us as well. I'm hoping we're still out of range. Yeah, so far so good. I'm not taking any fire. Excellent. Alrighty, we're moving forward now. Our sappers were at 44 men. We've had 8 of them killed so far. These archers are taking a toll on them as they go up here. We've got to get them sapping and kind of digging against the wall now. And we're going to do that. We're going to change to sapper here. And we're going to go up and to the left. That's the section they're going to start digging at. And sappers failed check and became disordered. Oh, man. Okay, and now they're getting fired on. 2 more men. Our sappers having a terrible time down here. Okay, we've really got to put some more fire on these archers here to try to take them out of the action here. So we'll keep peppering these Muslim archers on the wall that are kind of causing a lot of casualties for our sappers down below. Okay, meanwhile, we're going to keep moving our Manganels northward here. It appears that this artillery piece on the Muslim walls doesn't have a range that can reach this, which is good because we're getting these closer. Next turn we can start to unlimber them and start to get them kind of pointing towards the walls here and start to open fire. Meanwhile, we're moving our units up. We're going to have to move our archers out of the way to let the siege tower through, I think. Oh, maybe, yeah, it's going to disorder them if it goes through there. But yeah, we're kind of slowly getting our siege set up here. Hopefully, we'll see how this goes. Our sappers are failing. Our Manganels are taking fire. We're not really achieving much. If we look at the results here of the battle so far, where is it, the victory conditions, I think we're probably losing more men. Yeah, we've taken out 9 men, and we've lost 18 men. So we're not doing well in terms of overall body count either. I mean, it's very early. This will go up probably into the hundreds like it did in the last time I played this one, and the fighting will get much more intense. And once we can get our Manganels opening fire on the walls, we should wreak havoc on the walls here, which is going to be fun. So still nothing going on here, just the initial stages of the battle. We'll move forward now. Guys, it's tough to knock these units out on the walls. We had every single archer that could fire on these Muslim archers on the corner here, and I think we took out like 2 or 3 men. So, yeah, this is tough. We're right underneath them here, taking casualties, and our sappers are disordered now. This has not gone well here. Let's go to the Muslim turn here and see what happens. Oh, sorry, melee. We're going to take more fire, I'm sure. Hear their horses moving around inside the walls here. Oh, please don't hit us. 4 more men. Heavy. Oh, these other archers are firing too. 1 man. Okay, but we've got some counter fire there. Not doing much damage though. Okay, melee phase. They got nothing going on. 1 unit disordered out of 2 checked. Hopefully this unit is back in action now. Ah, the sappers are still disordered. Okay. Not doing anything. Okay. We're getting closer. We've got all our Manganels here just to the north of the road in a line. We're going to start to unlimber them, get them facing the walls, and start to open fire pretty soon. So this is getting good. We've got a siege tower here to the south of the road that's only about 120 meters away from the wall. Our melee troops are lining up behind them now. All our archers fired at these archers on the walls here and killed nary a man. Not a single casualty inflicted here. Archers not having a lot of success here yet. I would love to get some of them, if we can get up in the siege tower, get them up on the walls to fire down in the city too. That would be, I think, effective here. But let's go to the next turn here. We'll advance to the Muslim half of the turn. See what they do. I'm still a little bit leery of this Manganel here. Hopefully it can't fire on our siege tower. I might actually wait until we can start to open fire on it a little bit here. Oh, they are just ripping our sappers apart here. Another sapper falls to his death. And no effect. Excellent. Good. Firing it. Oh, we're firing back. Yeah. You just can't get many casualties on these guys on the walls. Finally, there goes one. All right, our turn. Let's see. 1 unit disordered out of 2 units checked. We got another unit resupplied. Excellently. Oh, our sappers, disordered as they are. Actually, we have the little notification here. Wall damage at 2866 is 21 points from the sapper at 2967. So if we click on them, it probably says actually that, yeah. So even, oh, they're ordered. They sorted themselves out. They're mining now. We can see the little thing here, and they're starting to damage the wall. Now the wall section is right above them here. We can see it has double question marks. So we don't know the strength of the wall, but roughly they seem to be like 100 to 150 points of strength, and we're doing about 20 points of damage per turn. So hopefully within 5 or 6 turns, an hour or so, we'll have something and maybe get our first breach in the wall here, which would be huge. But now it's time up here to our Manganels here. We're going to turn them towards the city here, and we're going to change them formation. They are unlimbered, and we can see on the top left they get this little marker called setting up. It's going to take them, some crews are faster than others, and it takes a while, but we're just going to get them all now changing formation, getting them unlimbered. We're going to start to open fire with artillery. Now the fun should start. I'm excited to see what we can do here. Get our big guns opening up here. Okay, so we'll get things going. We'll keep moving forward here with these. And let's change the formation there. So yeah, so our Manganels are lining up to fire. Maybe next turn we'll have our first one firing here. Meanwhile, I'm actually going to hold our siege tower because I think until we do some damage on their artillery, I'm afraid it's going to get fired at from where that is. And I think if we move it 1 more, it's going to be within range. So we're going to hold off on our closest siege tower moving forward until we get some signs that we've done some damage to these artillery pieces up there. I'd like to take that out first. Okay, so archers, meanwhile, are going to fire at these forces on the wall. Not having a lot of effect, but we're still going to pepper them. We'll be back shortly. Yes! Check it out here. We can see this R unit, this archer unit, they have routed. So we kept peppering them. Finally, after probably an hour and a half of taking arrow fire, they have routed here and they have moved to the southwest. So that will probably... They actually didn't fire on our sappers now. So our sappers have... they're not taking any more fire, which is good. So we've reduced the fire on the sappers. They are free to work, and they've done 21 points of wall damage here on this little chunk of wall to the north of the southeast corner. And we've got no units disordered. Everybody's back in. We're all ordered, and we got one of our 4 Manganels is now set up, so we can fire with one of the Manganels here. Yes, it's the first one under Prince Godfrey here, who's can open fire. So now let's open fire on their Manganel here. We're going to click the fire icon. We should be able to fire right on this. Yes! 2 fort, no effect on the unit, but that's good. Starting to take damage there, and that would actually be a great place to break through too. We could rush our troops up there and go right through a gap in the wall. So we're going to keep peppering that artillery piece with our things. Hopefully our other Manganels will get set up shortly on the next turn, and then we can start to wreak havoc. Yeah, these 3 are still setting up. Come on, guys. Get busy. Let's go. Turn 12 of 30. We are approaching here. Wall, 21 more points of damage. Our sappers moving forward here. This is great. And 2 batteries out of 3 units are set up now. So we got 3 of our Manganels all ready to fire. We are going to keep wreaking havoc now. Let's get busy, guys. So we're going to open up here with our Manganels. Let's switch to fire and fire up on this unit on the wall just to the north of the gate. 3 fort, and we fatigued the artillery there. That's good. Hopefully we can start to damage it here. The second one's still setting up. Fire. Let's go right up there. Good. 4 fort, no effect. So we're starting to wear the fort down. This is good. Let's get our next one firing, and let's see if we can help the sappers here. We're going to fire down. Oh, it's blocked line of sight. Okay, so we've got to get our ground troops, our archers, out of the way here. That's fine. We have a way of getting them out of the way. Don't want to move them close that way. Let's just have you back up for a second. That's fine. Okay, then these guys, this Manganel, should be able to fire. Let's have them fire now, and fire on this section of the wall. Excellent. 2 fort, 1 man. Good. So we're helping out the sappers here, destroying the fort and putting casualties on the men here. It could be a long process if we're only getting 3 or 4 points of damage per Manganel shot from this distance on these things. Maybe we need to be closer, but yeah, I'm hopeful that we can break through here. Maybe the range matters a lot and we're just too far away. But yeah, 1 siege engine of unknown strength on the wall. We're just going to keep firing. We'll keep going with the strategy for the moment here. Our archers are going to open up now. And as soon as we break through this wall in the southeast here, we're going to start to flood some troops through here. We're also going to, I think, as soon as we do a little more damage on this wall section, perhaps move up our siege towers. We'll at least try one of them. Let's actually, I think we're going to try one of them now. I decided to push the siege tower up a little bit closer here. I'm hoping it doesn't take fire. And it didn't. That's excellent. Good. I think its range might be 4, which would mean batteries are all set up now. Excellent. More wall damage from our sappers down here. We are making progress. I suspect, though, if we move this siege tower that's right next to the wall, up against the wall, that this artillery piece is going to fire at it. So let's continue to rain fire on this siege engine up against the wall here. Let's keep peppering this. Hopefully we can do some damage to the unit here pretty soon. 1 fort and fatigue. Oh, man. Maybe we need to be closer. 4 fort, no effect. You know, I'm going to take this piece here, and instead of firing it, I'm going to have it change formation. We're going to have it limbered, and we're going to push it forward 1 here, and see if maybe closer range will help kind of movement allowances exceeded. Okay, so we can't do anything with it this turn. So it'll take a while, slowing us down here, but let's have this one help out our sappers over here. 2 fort, 1 man. Excellent. Good. Blowing holes through the wall here, but still no effect. The question now, however, is do we dare push this siege tower up against the walls and try to get in on the wall that way? I think we have 2 siege towers. We'll learn something, and if it doesn't work, we won't do it next time. Let's go. We're going to push it up against the wall there. Now, I do want to leave our leader behind. The first men up the wall, I think, are going to get butchered. So we're going to have our leader hang back and go with these axemen here. So we'll move them up. We're basically sending our ground troops now in a line up behind the siege tower so that when they get to when it gets to, oh, we can actually push them up in it now. Go, go, go. They're in it. Excellent. We can see the siege tower is moved to occupied, and the men up on the top left are in the tower. So our men are climbing up the siege tower. They're going to try to take the wall here. Hopefully they won't get mangled by this artillery piece here. Let's give them a lot of support with our archers here too, because we have a lot of archers that haven't fired yet. So let's get these guys opening fire on this unit up here is probably a good idea. No effect. Firemen, rip them apart. Why can't... Oh, these are ground troops, right? They can't fire. Let's go up there. Too far out of range. Not facing it, doesn't matter out of range. So we'll help out with these next units down here. All right. Keep peppering these wall forces. All right, here comes the moment of truth. We've fired all our archers. We are starting to wreak some havoc here. Let's take a look at what we're doing for damage here on victory points. Are we getting anywhere close? So they've killed 32 of our men, basically those, the casualties that we took, the sappers and stuff underneath the walls. But we're now up to 24, so we've still lost more men. They've inflicted 7 points of losses on us. We've inflicted 3 on them. So total points is 4. It's a Crusader Alliance major defeat at this point in time. The big question is whether this artillery piece is going to fire on the siege tower. Let's see what happens. Hopefully they're okay. So yeah, we know we'd peppered them with fatigue for a while. Maybe they don't have an angle. Maybe the line of sight is blocked along the wall there. Oh, we got to go one more here. Here it is. Don't fire at us. So far. Oh gosh, I was dumb. They moved in. I should have moved our units forward in melee on the wall. I wasted that turn. But oh well, we'll get them on the next one. Wall damage, 21 points from the sapper. So we are making more progress on the wall. We have to advance in the melee phase. So they sat there for 10 minutes waiting for no command. The order that never came to charge up in the wall. But we'll get them moving forward. The good news is that artillery piece didn't fire on our siege tower, so these troops can kind of go forward in melee on the next turn. Meanwhile, let's continue pounding the walls here. So let's get our Manganels firing up here on their artillery piece to the north of the gate. 4 fort in fatigue. Maybe we've just exhausted them. Pounding them with rocks here. 4 fort, no effect. That's fine. Let's help the sappers out with this piece down here. 4 fort, no effect. Ooh, did that? Sounded like a breaking sound. But I think when it breaks, we're going to see the unit that's on it crumble underneath it. They're going to fall through the wall, and they're going to be in serious trouble. So I don't think... Let's take a look just to be sure. Units off. Yeah, so there's no breach in the wall. That graphic would change. So, yeah, we haven't succeeded yet, but we're getting there. Now, I do want to see if we move this Manganel closer, does it kind of start to do more damage here? We'll go this way with it. And let's move it one more. We can't. We're going to unlimber it. I probably can't do that either. Yeah, we have to wait. We're burning up all our movement points. So we'll move it forward one more and then fire. That should be a good spot. Let's get our archers firing up on these units on the wall. And then right after this, in the melee phase, we should be able to send these units in the siege tower up onto these, against these units in the wall. So let's give them as much help as we can get. Let's get some arrows on these guys on the wall here. Yes, we killed one man. That's another man they don't have to kill. And they can't go anywhere yet. These guys up here, fire up on the wall. Unit is not facing the target, so we need to change the direction a little bit. That's fine. Now they're facing the target. And range of weapon exceeded by 1 hex. Oh, it's a range of 4. Okay, whatever. Fine. Effect there. Nice. These guys on the walls. This is good. More casualties. More casualties. Every unit, every man we drop is going to save another man that these men don't have to take on the walls. So, okay. Looking pretty good here at the moment. Let's go. I think we're set to go to the melee phase. Once, yeah, we're getting there. Okay, let's go to the melee phase. And now comes the part where we're going to take these guys in the tower here and select them, and then they are going to melee this way. Advantage defender. See what happens here. Then we have to execute it. See what happens. 8 attacker, 7 defender, and they held on the wall. Okay. But they're disordered on the wall. That's good. So, and what are they down to? They're down to 40 men. Yeah, we're starting to put them. So, okay. The battle in the wall is going in there, but we didn't break through and take hold of any sections on the wall yet. But we're getting closer. Okay, and that is the end of our melee phase here. So let's go to the Muslim turn. Let's see. I wonder if they're going to melee against us here now while we're in the tower. Gosh, this wall here that the sappers are working on is still holding. I don't know why it's taking so long. But anyway, okay, let's continue to pepper the wall here with our Manganels out here from distance. Boom. Nice. Okay. Keep going. Keep firing. We can break through here. 2 fort fatigue. It's going to take a long time at this rate, though. Let's have this Manganel down here to the south. Help out our sappers down here. 5 fort, 1 man. Okay, let's kill another man there. That's good. Right. And now it's time for our archers to fire We're going to start pushing our archers forward so they can fire up at these guys that these the attackers are melee is going against too. Oh, right. We also want to move this Manganel a little bit closer, right there. Now we can unlimber it. Not yet. Not enough movement. Yeah, so next turn we can unlimber it. It's going to be much closer. We'll get it firing from here. Let's get our archers peppering these guys that are... we're trying to break through on the wall here, so chop them down. Another man falls. Excellent. Good. And they're disordered too, if I'm not mistaken. So, alrighty, we've fired everything we can, and we're in position here to move forward. I do think, actually, we're going to push up some of these ground troops. Now, to go through a gap in the wall, the units have to be in column formation, which is what they are in right now. But we do want to, as soon as we have these sappers break through in the north to the southeast corner, we want to send ground units forward. So let's get some of these guys moving up here. Actually, these guys here, sorry. These guys are going up in the siege tower because they're in the same battalion. All right, melee again. 34 knights here in the tower. Spearmen, 1st Battalion of Jerusalem, going forward. Let's see if they can get in. Advantage defender again. Push him back, boys. Push him back. 5 attacker, 4 defender. Disordered on the wall, though. Gosh, we can't make progress, but it's the ferocious melee here. We have to break through the city before we end this episode. I'll probably split it up into 2 episodes here. Okay, let's go to the Muslim turn here. At some point, those defenders on the wall have to rout, right? Because they're just getting drilled with arrows. They're getting ferocious melee. I mean, it's a fierce attack going on here. Has the wall broken yet? No. What is this wall made of? Titanium? We have no idea how much closer it is till it falls here either. Gosh. Okay. Let's, we're going to get this siege tower. Nope, not the siege tower here. We're going to get this siege engine unlimbered. So let's change formation there. Good. It's setting up. And let's keep pounding this wall up here with our Manganels. I'd love to knock this siege tower out because then we can push forward with the other siege tower. All right, down to 29 men here on the wall here. We're running out of troops here, but let's go forward. Advantage defender still. Break through, boys. Break through. 6 attacker, 4 defender. Gosh, but they're down to 30 men here on the wall. We got to go soon, right? Soon we're going to break through. I mean, we might need to pull them out and put some fresh troops in there too, right? Because we can probably see, let's check the fatigue here. Oh, fatigue level on these guys in the tower is 270. Probably, I don't know if they can come down the siege tower. I'm not sure. But I think we should, and they're down to 23 men, 54%. They're A-plus troops, but half of them are dead, and they just can't break through this defending unit on the wall. So, still, and we still haven't broken through the ground here with our sappers. Still knocking on the wall here, but we can't get in. Let's go. One more turn then. All right, so I was able to pull out these troops down here, these 23 men, they're 54%. Fatigue is 270, so they're just exhausted. For an hour, they've been climbing up the siege tower and trying to break through and knock these out. We've got, instead, 42 fresh battle axe men. Strength 100, quality A, up on the wall, 0 fatigue. They have just been waiting. These troops on the wall have got to be exhausted too. They're disordered and everything. So now with fresh troops in the siege tower, let's see if we can break through. Continuing to pound the wall here. We still haven't broken through with our sappers on the southeast wall. We've got troops ready to pour through that gap should it happen. But let's end our turn here. We'll go to the melee phase, see if we can get troops on the wall here. Let's go, men. Advantage attacker. Here we go. Let's break through. Execute the melee. Yes, we've made it. So we killed 6 defenders, 4 attackers, and we are on the wall. Excellent. So now we can fight. Where is the nearest? I want to see the close. Take a look at view units off. We are actually on a tower. So we could go down inside the wall at this point on the next turn and try to break through to this east gate. So now it's upon our, it's kind of imperative that we get other units up into the wall, start getting units moving along the wall and break through. So we've got our first breakthrough into the city. Now, we can see here if we turn these units back on, they've got archers waiting for us inside. These troops that we just pushed off, there's actually a supply wagon there. So we've caught them a little bit unaware here. We can probably break through. We've got archers to do, but we can start now to get our archers up on the wall too and push down through these units in all different directions. But we're going to need to reinforce this siege tower and getting units up on the wall here. And I think with that being said, this is a good time to end part 1. Let's actually go to the Muslim turn. We'll go through that and then we'll come back to our turn here. Let's see what their response is. Wow, we can see much further now into the city here. There's a lot of units inside as well. I think they will probably try to attack us on the wall here. Bringing up fresh troops in that siege tower was the right way to go, because I'm sure those defenders were exhausted. They're starting to pull units. We can see them pulling units off the wall now. So they're like, okay, we got to concede the wall. That's excellent. So if we can break through in a couple more places. So archers are peppering our units to no effect. Excellent. Our battle axe men. And they are going to melee us on the wall. Okay. 1 attacker, 4 defender. Oh, they routed our melee troops here. Gosh, so we're routed and we ran inside the wall. These men are doomed. What are they doing? That's not a good thing. So they got up on the wall, they pushed those units back out of the tower, and then they got blindsided from the south with those other units that were up there, and they pushed us down, and now they're all panicking here. Fatigue is 100, but they're totally routed. Hopefully they can get their act together, but they're isolated. Oh, look at this! Look at this, check it out. We've broken through on the wall to the southeast as well. Our sappers have finally gotten through. So as we go to our next turn, we've got units that can kind of keep going up. We've got 1 siege tower up against the wall. We can start to break through this breach now. We got 2 places we can get into the city. Our goal is we can get this east gate open and then start to flood in with the rest of it, because we got cavalry to get in as well. But now we've got 2 holes in the city. This is a perfect time for us to end here. We'll be back in the next episode to conclude the Siege of Arsuf.